Welcome to the official 901FC Coaches Show with your host, Pete Pranica. Join Pete as he interviews your 901FC coaches and favorite players and gives you the most in-depth look at the 901FC. Now, let's get to the show.
Hello and welcome to the Memphis 901FC podcast. I'm Pete Pranica, one of the voices of the club on WMC Bounce 5.2 and ESPN+. The club continues its record-breaking run, now an 8-match unbeaten streak in USL Championship competition. After they dropped their first 2 matches, the boys in blue have managed at least a split of the points in every match since. They've collected 5 wins and 3 draws in that time. That's 18 out of a possible 24 points collected in the bank for 901FC. They're also one of the most dangerous offensive teams in the championship. They are at a plus 11 goal differential over the last 8. They're also the only team in the championship to find the back of the net in every single match they've played this season. In fact, the only time that 901FC was shut out was in U.S. Open Cup competition at Birmingham Legion. Now, in today's show, we're going to visit with manager Stephen Glass, get his thoughts on the victory over Miami FC, also how Rodrigo da Costa has fit into the tactics. We'll also talk about one of the budding rivalries in USL Championship soccer between 901FC and Louisville City. They will rematch Saturday night. Earlier this season, it was a 1-1 draw at AutoZone Park on April the 29th. But before we get there, a little bit more on that big home win over Miami. Now, the home side wasted no time in finding the back of the net. 901FC won at a very early corner, and yep, that guy, Aaron Malloy, big assist creator, perfect service to Jeremy Kelly. Ball falls to his feet. Then it goes to the back of the net in the 58th second of the match. Quickest goal in the championship so far this season. Now, Miami conceded not 1, but 2 handballs in the box. And as a result, Memphis scored twice from the spot. Aaron Malloy in the 22nd minute, and then Bruno Lappa found the back of the net with the PK 12 minutes later. Miami's Bolu Akinyode pulled one back for the visitors just before the halftime whistle. So the halftime scoreline 3-1 in favor of the home side, 901FC. Those 3 first-half goals, by the way, marking a team high for this season. Now, shortly after the resumption of play in the second half, Akinyode drew his second yellow card, so he was done for the night. Then about the hour mark, Rodrigo da Costa came in. He replaced Laurent Kisiadou. Nita Pickering added to the Memphis lead in the 76th minute with a very composed chip over the Miami keeper. Now, 3 minutes later, Jelani Peters of Memphis was shown his second yellow card. And so the Memphis man advantage went away. Didn't really matter. Akeem Ward came on late in the match for Pickering, and the decision by manager Stephen Glass paid dividends. Akeem Ward capped the scoring in the 88th minute for the final of 5-1 to Memphis. That victory leveled Memphis's home record at 2 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws. They are now 4 straight unbeaten at home after losing a couple early. Overall, 5-2-3. They are 5th in the Eastern Conference table with 18 points. They're just 3 points out of a tie for 3rd in the tightly packed Eastern Conference race. Now, what's important is that Memphis has at least 2 games in hand on everybody else in the league. Memphis 901FC has played a league few 10 matches because of the Oakland Roots postponement due to a bad field earlier this season. And as Stephen Glass will tell us, the fact that they had a match postponed with Birmingham Legion because Birmingham Legion was in the U.S. Open Cup. So 901FC, only 10 matches. And, oh, by the way, Birmingham Legion, they dropped their U.S. Open Cup match to Inter Miami, 1-0. Inter Miami obviously thrilled with the fact that Lionel Messi is headed their way. But I digress. Now, just so you can keep your schedules up to date, that Oakland Roots match in the Bay Area, that was rescheduled to July 12th. It's going to pair with a West Coast swing because 901FC is going to be at Sacramento Republic on July the 15th. Now, the Birmingham Legion match that was postponed from earlier this week because of the U.S. Open Cup fixture, that has been rescheduled to September the 20th in Alabama. Now, one last footnote on the Miami match. Both Aaron Malloy and Jeremy Kelly were named to the USL Championship Team of the Week, Malloy's 3rd award and the 4th for Jeremy Kelly. Overall, and this is really impressive. Overall, Memphis has placed at least one player on the team of the week for the last 7 weeks in a row. And now a big test. Memphis travels to Lynn Family Stadium this weekend. They take on Louisville City, 7 o'clock kickoff from Lynn Family Stadium. Lou City is one slot ahead of Memphis in the table. They have 21 points. They are 6-3-3. I'll preview that match in a bit, but first, let's get to our conversation with the manager of Memphis 901 SC, Stephen Glass. Coach, first off, great result against Miami, 5-1. Early strike, couple of handballs, got you a couple of goals from the spot. What was your evaluation of your team against Miami?
I think firstly we got a very good start, so that was important for us. I feel like there's been sometimes we've not really started well in games and we've suffered as a consequence, but we were determined coming off of the break week that wasn't going to be the case. I think you saw the determination of the group to start well and then keep turning the screw really, and that was evident the whole evening.
You had that long break between matches. How do you balance getting guys rest and recovery and then preparing for a match, particularly working in a new player like Rodrigo?
Yeah, well, I think in terms of the break first, like the rest period was important to give them enough rest. I think naturally it's Memorial Weekend in America that weekend as well. So the boys, they're probably expecting a long weekend at that point, and if you don't give them it, then it's a mental thing for them as well. So we were very aware of the fact of what it was, what it means to a lot of the people and their families, and then the fact that they had to rest and recover. But a good training period before that weekend, and then it's a normal week building into Miami without a midweek game, which has been a little bit unusual for us at times. We've made the most of it, I think, and importantly, the Birmingham game getting cancelled has probably been a help as well. So we're able to, for the first 3 games coming back, play straight Saturday.
How has that been for you during that break? I mean, you understand the players get some time away because it is the holiday weekend here in America. But for a coaching staff, do you go back, do you look at video, do you reevaluate tactics because you have a little more time? Can you dive a little more deeply into what you want to do going forward?
Yeah, you can look back and plan and analyse a little bit deeper without the game at the weekend, and also things that have worked. So you're not always analysing what's went bad as well. What's worked, previous games will come back round that we play some of these teams a second time. So it's important that you're analysing the good and the bad, and also while integrating Rodrigo into the group, which was important as well. So the break came at a good time for a lot of reasons, but it's always dangerous, the break, because you can come back and you've lost your rhythm a little bit. So we have to guard against that, but I think players deserve the credit for what they did on Saturday night.
Against Miami, you brought Rodrigo on right around the hour mark. I know you want to slowly integrate him and build him into the club. A player of such tremendous quality, what role do you envision for him, and what did you see from him in that first stint against Miami?
Yeah, well, I think firstly at Tulsa, he wasn't particularly fixed into a position. I think because he was asked to do a lot there. I think I've said to him already here, we've got a lot of players that can actually help you rather than you feeling like you're carrying the team, if you like. So that's how it looks from the outside. But I think he'll benefit. He can play a number of positions across the front. And we felt like it was important that we didn't just throw him in as well. Obviously, protecting what we have as a group already, letting the boys know that people that earn opportunities, even though Rodrigo's coming, he's a top player. I think it was important he saw how we were firsthand. And I spoke to him as well. He's seen us play, but he was Tulsa minded at that time. So now he's sat with a Memphis jersey on at the side, seeing what he could come in and help, and focused on us. And I think you saw him impact the team when he came on, and now we have a problem for Saturday night because we've probably got 15, 16 players that all think they should play. So it's good.
It is a good problem to have. Jeremy Kelly, 4 Team of the Week selections, got the first goal against Miami. A lot of fans, casual fans, may want to talk more about Aaron Malloy, but I think certainly the importance of Jeremy Kelly cannot be overstated. What do you see from your perspective with Jeremy?
Yeah, well, between him and Aaron, they've complemented each other very well. So they're a good pair in the middle of the pitch, and we've still got scope to move Jeremy to the side if we want. I know he played there a lot last year, but I've seen since we moved him, as a coaching staff, we felt like he could impact games even more than he did last year. I think the change of position has been good for him. I think he's thriving. He can control the pace of games. He's got quality. He can pass. He can run. he's got a little bit of everything that you want in a midfield player. And I felt like he had too much to be playing on the side. He could really impact the team. And I think at first I think he was a touch sceptical himself, but I think he's grown into the role. And I think now if I moved him back to the side, he'd be looking at me asking a couple of questions. So it's, again, another good problem, because a player that can play both positions, but generally fantastic all year. I don't see that changing.
I don't want to put the jinx on it, but this team has been very successful on the road. Do you see any particular reason why they're so good when they go away from home?
Not that you can put your finger on it. It's easy to start looking for things and say, oh, it's got to be this or that because you've had some good results. But I think what it is the drive that they have to be successful, the focus that they've got to not get beat. And if you don't get beat, you've got a really good chance to win. And I think the players, they're a strong group, a minded group. And I do think that they are a group that wants to feel success again. And you go on the road, you've generally got a crowd against you. And there's a team that likes to prove people wrong, I think, as well. There's a lot of boys in there that they've still got a real hunger about them. And I think that presents itself on the road.
So you go to Louisville City, very, very dangerous, a 1-1 draw earlier this year. Wilson Harris, quality goal scorer. Brian Ownby can set you up, or you can put it in the back of the net. And they've got a rookie keeper, Semla, who has been absolutely fantastic. As you look at them heading into this weekend, what's important to deal with them?
I think I'll give you the same answer that I think you get from any coach that's got a top team, and I believe we've got a top team. We look at ourselves first. You obviously have to see what the dangers are and where you can find holes that can make it easier for us. But I like to focus on us, but there's a huge respect for Louisville. They've got a group of players that are used to being at the top end, used to being in the final of the whole thing every year pretty much. So we know what we're going into. But I said after the game last week, I believe that Louisville know what's rolling into their stadium as well on Saturday night. And I think that's the only thing we can control, and that's what we'll look to do.
You gained a great reputation as a player development coach during your time with Atlanta United in the academy. What are some of the principles that you as a coach put to work when you're trying to develop young talent?
I think the first is hard work. There's no guarantee if you work hard that things happen for you. But I think the flip side is true, that if you don't work hard, you're guaranteed you're not going to be anything. Try to instill that in the group and young ones. Sorry. So once you've got that, you've got a good base point for working with players. And then a lot of it's their natural talent, harnessing what they've got, pushing them in the right way. Then you've got a decision: do you focus on their strengths and make them really good, or their weaknesses and try and brush them? There's a little bit of a balance. And then I think finally, at a club like this, rather than at Atlanta, where it's the second team and there's more of them, I think it's when do you expose them to the team? Do they start every week? Do they come on off the bench? Do you not play them when they feel like they should play? So it's a little bit of probably management and try to poke them a little bit and keep them hungry. Obviously, we've got Knight at the minute, and he's played the last 2-3 games starting. Then we got decisions: does he stay in the team? Does he get a little taste off the bench? Does he feel like he has to keep pushing? So again, it's another of those good problems that we've got. But we've got a hungry young one in there that's keen to do well.
I'm interested in your perspective, Coach, because you played the game at the highest level in the Premier League. You come over to the United States, and how have you seen American soccer grow, particularly the homegrown players? Obviously, Nita Pickering is an example, but Josh Winder from Lou City, now $1 million transfer to a Portuguese club. How has America soccer grown since you've seen it?
I think it's grown hugely, and I've been fortunate to almost see both divisions as well, because obviously I played here when I was young enough to actually keep playing in the NASL as it was, and it was the second division, and it was very much a second division. But I think now you've got players of a certain level that will choose to play USL over MLS just because they might be the top dog and they might want to do that in this division. I think the league is a lot stronger. It helps blood young players. And I think Josh up at Louisville, he's obviously bringing a lot of money for the club, blooded at the right time, well looked after. And I think it shows that we're being respected as a league as well, that we've got players, young players that are going to be valuable. And I also think you've got clubs that are not going to roll over the first offer that comes in. And I think that's very important as well for the league as a whole. And us as a club, that's what we think about. But I think people know, they look at the USL, there's a player that they like. It's not going to be walk in and throw a little bit of money and it's definitely going to happen. It needs to be right for the club and the player. And that's our job to make sure we get that right.
You're 10 matches into the season. What has impressed you most about either the city of Memphis, the organization, the club, the players? What have been your early impressions?
I think, well, if you start with the bigger things, the city, it's been very welcoming. I've enjoyed being here. It's nicer now that the sun's coming out a lot more and it's a bit warmer. I arrived in January and that wasn't the case, but felt like I was still in Scotland. So it's the city's been very welcoming. There's a lot of people here, a lot of Scottish people, a lot of expats, and the local Memphians as well have been fantastic. Everybody we've met has been great. Then the club itself, very, very supportive, right across the whole board. People that we see in the office that are around the place all the time, front office people, right down, and I wouldn't even say right down to any particular level, because that sounds like you're talking down about people, but everyone that works throughout the club has been brilliant. They've all got a dedication to their job. And then the players, their hunger to continue work has been exceptional. I think they felt like a little bit of success with having an unbeaten run, but they weren't happy at 2 and 3. They wanted to keep pushing. And we've got the desire to keep that going. It's going to be difficult Saturday night, but we've also got a few home games coming up after that we know if we look over after our business the month of June, could be in a very nice position come the end of June.
Coach, thank you so much for the time. Safe travels to Louisville and good luck on Saturday night.
Thanks, Pete. Cheers. See you soon.
1. The boys in purple go into Saturday's home fixture off a 0-0 draw with Hartford Athletic last weekend. Lou City 6-3-3, as I said, overall this season, but they're only 3-2-0 at home. Goals have been scarce. Lou City has found the net just twice in the last 3 matches. After thumping Miami FC 3-1 on May 13th, Lou City surrendered points to FC Tulsa at home 2-1 before taking a 1-0 win at Indy 11. And they failed to score against the Hartford Athletic side that has allowed a league-high 24 goals. Now, despite the good record, Lou City a -1 goal differential because of a late March and early April swoon in which they dropped consecutive matches to El Paso Locomotive and Sacramento Republic by an 8-0 aggregate. Offensively for Lou City, 8 different players have found the net, led by Wilson Harris with 3 goals in his 9 appearances. Brian Ownby is one of the most creative players in the Lou City lineup. 15 chances created, 2 goals, 2 assists. And the rookie keeper, Alba Semla, has been outstanding in the sticks. He has only conceded 4 goals in his 9 matches and is saving 67% of the shots that he faces. A remarkable 6 clean sheets as well, a tribute not only to the back 4, but Semla's talent as well. The 6 clean sheets in a 4-way tie for most in league play. The robust Lou City defense will be tested by Memphis's offensive pressure. 901 FC has 2 of the top 3 chance creators in the championship. Aaron Malloy is first with 36 chances created. Rodrigo da Costa is third with 29. Malloy is also second in total crosses with 87. That's even more impressive when, remember, Memphis 901 FC has only played 10 matches. 87 crosses in 10 matches. That is outstanding stuff from Aaron Malloy. Memphis also top 10 in conversion rate. They score on 16% of their opportunities. They also continue to rank among the top teams in final third entries, and they lead the league in shots per 90 minutes. Now, you can see this match between 901 FC and Louisville City on WMC Bounce 5.2 and on ESPN+. The hometown call will be on WMC. Christian Brothers soccer coach Enda Crayon and I will have the call beginning at 7 o'clock on WMC 5.2. Hope you'll join us for that. Well, that is a wrap for this edition of the Memphis 901 FC podcast. Our thanks to Memphis 901 FC manager Stephen Glass for joining us, and our thanks to you for listening. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. We've got more on the way. For now, so long, and we'll see you on the pitch.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the 901 FC Coaches Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. For comprehensive coverage of all things Memphis sports, head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co and find out how you can become an insider. We will see you back here next time.